Namaste Shriji. As India reels from these horrific attacks in Pahalgam and Kashmir, just within a week, the Lakshmi Mittal Institute of South Asian Studies is rolling out the red carpet for a Pakistan conference. The keynote address apparently is going to be given by the ambassador of Pakistan. This seems to be business as usual at the Mittal Institute. There is even a session on the enlightened Muslim, which seems to be an effort in whitewashing some of the deeds of Pakistan in the Ivy halls of Harvard. Now, this spectacle is a grotesque display of insensitivity funded by Indian billionaires. So you can't get more hypocritical than this. We had talked about this in the Snakes in the Ganga endlessly. I want to bring your attention and your viewers' attention to a particular professor by the name of Sunil Amrit. Now, Sunil Amrit was the director for the Mahindra Institute of Humanities at Harvard. So, of course, sponsored by Mahindra. He's given a lot of lectures at the Mittal Institute at Harvard. And he's, of course, was the Mehra Professor of South Asian Studies at Harvard. Now, this Mehra professorship was funded by Sanjeev Mehra, who is from Goldman Sachs and McKinsey. This man has been backed by the Mittal Institute, the Mahindras, and of course the Mehras. Now, why am I so interested in Sunil Amrit? So, Sunil Amrit is a historian who has been studying the Bay of Bengal and of course the Himalayan waters. He's also written about the Indus Water Treaty. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Sunil Amrit is an environmental historian, and he looks at history horizontally as opposed to vertically. So when you look at history vertically, you look at a particular civilization chronologically and build up. Whereas when you're looking at it horizontally, you're just looking at people and equality and equity and all of those things. So what Sunil Amrit believes is that the communities around the Bay of Bengal have been migrating back and forth based on the weather patterns. And since he is an environmental historian, he makes a case for this migration to continue, because these are communities that have for years and years and years have gone back and forth based on the monsoons and floods and the weather, and they should be allowed to do so because that is their livelihood. So he rejects hard borders. He rejects sovereignty of nations who impose very strict border controls and do not want migrants coming in. He argues that these nations prioritize these rigid borders because of that, they believe in sovereignty, and hence this affects all these communities and makes them marginalized. So if you apply Harvard's attitude or disapproval of the CAA and the NRC, and you combine it with Amrit's idea that these should be open borders and have migration continue and ebb and flow as per the weather patterns, so you can imagine what our billionaires are funding. Our billionaires are funding this Breaking India Force, it's a huge Breaking India Force, and saying if you apply this to Bangladeshis and Rohingya Muslims, then you would say that you should actually welcome all these people, and when the floods go down, they will eventually go back. So that's kind of the thing that our billionaires are funding. Amrit has also written about the Indus Water Treaty. Now, he has expressed a lot of concern about India wanting to divert some of this water. He does not want India to build any dams across any of those rivers. And he's extremely concerned about Pakistan's vulnerability to India's control of the waters upstream, because India controls all these rivers upstream. And so he's very worried about food security in Pakistan. He says that India always weaponizes the water treaty and connects it unnecessarily to terrorist attacks in Kashmir. I think 2016 was the last attack where India suggested that they may take a second look at the Indus Water Treaty. So he says that India weaponizes it and uses it as a bargaining chip and connects it unnecessarily to the Kashmir issue. So this is what our billionaires are funding. While India mourns the loss of all these civilians, now you have Amrit getting the Infosys prize in humanities. So even Indian billionaires within India are giving these prizes to to someone like Amrit. Now, Amrit moved to Yale University recently, and things haven't changed. He is, of course, the Renu and Anand Dhawan Professor of History at Yale. And guess who's funding this professorship? It is Ashish Dhawan, who is also the co-founder of Ashoka University. So you have the Mehras, the Mittals, the Mahindras in Harvard. Now he comes to Yale. He gets the Infosys Prize. He is the Ashish Dhawan's or the Renu and Anand Dhawan Professor of History at Yale, funded by Ashish Dhawan. This is the sad state of affairs. And even worse is the Indian government sending babus, the bureaucrats, to Harvard to study this narrative and come back to India on taxpayer money. So there are so many holes to plug, and I wanted to share this with you because Indian billionaires are one of the biggest breaking India forces, looks like. While the country is working really hard to keep citizens safe, the billionaires need to be a little bit more responsible and sensitive to how they spend their money, Shri. Thank you.